Welcome back. Now, there's no doubt about the success of female engineers. These women have the ability to perform extraordinary jobs that once were only associated with men, despite the fact that sometimes their efforts go unnoticed. Namibia Women in Engineering Association, NAMWE, is hosting its 5th annual conference under the theme Reshaping Namibia with Emerging Technology and Innovation at the Namibia University of Science and Technology in the Namibian capital today. The Chief Executive Officer and founder of NAMWE, Dr. Smita Francis, as well as the President of the African Federation of Engineering Organization, that is Carleen Bushdid, are now joining us via Zoom to share more information about women engineering. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning, Denver. Good morning, Namibia.
Dr. Francis, let's please start with...
And thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Francis, let's please start with you. What percentage of Namibian women are engineers?
It depends. Are you talking about how many enroll for engineering? Are you talking about how many are out in the industries? Let me tell you, Denver, that the enrollment of engineering of females is going up. But how many of those female engineers join the industry? So if I were to say that today engineering enrollment is 20 to 25%, but in industry you find only 10 to 15% of the female engineers that have graduated who join the field. That would be my take on it.
What do you attribute that to?
We face several challenges. The challenges in industry when female engineer goes for an interview and a male also goes for an interview, they would rather prefer to take the male engineer than the female engineer. You see, it starts from there. The challenges are just too many for female engineers even to start studying or even enter the field as a graduate engineer.
So a lot of work still remains to be done.
Yes, indeed. A lot of work remains to be done. We need to promote engineering to, in fact, at the school level, grade 4 onwards, we need to aggressively promote STEM studies, and that will only allow female students or learners to join engineering.
Thank you, Doc. Now, Ms. Bushdid, you are the President of the African Federation of Engineering Organization and the guest speaker at today's event. We also know that your engineering career spans over 35 years. Is it your conviction that women have an advantage in engineering today, reflecting also on the challenges shared with us by Dr. Francis?
Yes. Let me not... I wouldn't put it that way. I wouldn't say they have an advantage. They bring in different perspectives when they work as engineers. We have different experiences growing up. We have different ways of doing things and so on. And engineering is all about solving the problems of society. So you need a workforce that reflects society. And that's why it's important to have more women in the engineering space. There are so many little things that are done, but they are done with the male perspective in mind. And if you had females there, you may have a different solution altogether. So that's why it's important that women are there. And just reflecting on the challenges that Dr. Smita Francis has mentioned, you find that all over Africa. Women face the same kinds of stigma and so on, and getting into the profession. It is beginning to change slowly, but we need to accelerate that change. And we have lessons from other parts of Africa that we like to share around. And the more people see women in these roles, the more they begin to accept them. So yes, there's a lot of work to be done, and at the Federation, we are doing our best to promote this idea to industry, to society, to governments and everyone, that they must ensure that their engineering workforce begins to reflect their societies. So they need to have more women in the workforce.
Madam Bushdid, while you have the virtual floor, let's reflect on the theme for today's event, which is reshaping Namibia with emerging technology and innovation. From your perspective, what emerging technologies in engineering specifically have emerged?
There's so many of these emerging technologies. I mean, information technology, everybody knows. It's still an emerging technology because there's still so much to be done with it. You have the 3D printing, you have artificial intelligence, you have so many different new technologies, nanotechnology, and so on, all coming up. But very often in Africa, we look at these technologies and we think, oh, this is, not for us now. We are too early in our development. But rather, they are the technologies that may help us to leapfrog and develop much faster than we would have with the traditional ways of doing things. So these emerging technologies that are coming out, we need to pay attention to them, and we need to really understand their power and try our best to take advantage of what they have to offer.
Thank you. Dr. Francis, what would you like to add in terms of the emerging technologies in engineering that have emerged?
Denver, today we are here today on a Zoom call just because of technology that have developed. So looking at the Namibian scenario, I would say emerging technologies are Internet of Things and machine learning, artificial intelligence, as Madam Carlin has mentioned. And right now we are in the midst of discussion of the green hydrogen technology, which Namibia is leading the continent, and renewable energy. So at this point in time, we also have several applications that we are using in daily lives, not understanding that these are also part of Industrial Revolution 4.0. For example, we use our smartphones to check security at home, daily access to gates and buildings. So these are all things that we have been using daily. So on the industrial front, I would say applications of machine learning, 3D printing has proved to be a strategic key in streamlining manufacturing processes efficiently. So we are in the midst of Industrial Revolution 4.0, and whether we like it or not, we have to adapt to these technologies and just develop and enhance Namibia industries and manufacturing processes in that direction.
Thank you. Madam Bushdid, bearing in mind what you both shared with us earlier, that we need to integrate more women and at a faster pace into the engineering profession, would you say that more female engineers would ultimately result in more role models for future generations?
Most definitely. And let me just add that since the first few female engineers came out and people started to showcase them, we've had many, many more. I first spoke soon after I graduated at an event, and a few years later I was called to the university and they had 45 female engineers. And after speaking, many of them came up to me and told me, oh, we are engineers today because we heard you speak at this event. So it really does make a difference. And the more that go into the profession, the easier it becomes for others to consider engineering as a profession. The easier it becomes for their parents to consider, encouraging them to go into those professions instead of discouraging them, because they have role models that they have seen and they can point to. So yes, it's very, very important, and more role models, more females will get into engineering.
Now, moving to today's event, as we're starting to wrap up our conversation, what can we expect?
Well, the main idea of Namibia Women in Engineering is to showcase female Namibian engineers and to focus on engineering as a career. So what we actually want to do is we want to promote and motivate the school kids to join engineering. So this event today is actually in collaboration with the International Women in Engineering Day that is celebrated globally on the 23rd of June. So today we want to showcase to Namibia that we also have female engineers who are excelling in the field of engineering, who have overcome many challenges, and there are few who have also shattered the proverbial, what we call it, the glass ceiling. And it takes a lot of effort and dedication just to reach that 5% of females that are in the top executive position. If you were to look around in the industries, you will not find many engineers who are in managerial positions. And so that is what we want to now also focus on, that women should also be given the opportunity. There should be equal opportunity for men and women to hold appropriate positions. So sometimes women, even though they have the experience and qualifications, but they are not considered for the post, you see. And Namibia has endorsed the zebra policy. I hope it also comes to engineering, and we have many female engineers my aim is actually to have a role model in every village, so that every village can aspire to have more engineers, more development, the economy becomes very sustainable. So that's what our aim is, and I'm sure that we will achieve it.
Thank you, Doc. Now, Madam Bushdit, all eyes on you as the guest speaker today. What can we expect from you?
Well, I hope to inspire the women I meet there today, and even the men. I hope to tell them a little more about what is expected from them, those who are already in the profession, and if there are any students there, what they can aspire to and what they can gain from being engineers and how they can help their countries. So that's what I hope to do today.
Any final thoughts from you, ma'am, before we let you go?
Well, let me just say I'm so delighted to be here in Namibia. This is my first time, and I believe that Namibia can be an inspiration to the rest of Africa. And so I would like to also get all Namibians behind this push to get females into engineering. And let's work together as Africa and develop this continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We hope you enjoy your stay here in the land of the brave.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Dr. Francis, your brief final thoughts, please.
Yeah, as Madam Caroline has said, we hope that in Namibia, the number of engineers, female engineers, just increase, and we have a sustainable economy, and we move towards innovative technology. And we have school learners who are now female school learners who strive to become engineers and join engineering force. And that's what our aim is. We also want to produce a number of role models, as I mentioned previously. Truly speaking, at Denver, all our activities are focused on SDG 4, SDG 5, that is gender equality and gender education. We also work towards motivating our girls to industry, becoming entrepreneurs and industrial innovation. So we are hoping that we achieve a lot from this conference as well.
Thank you, Doc. Ladies, thank you very much
so
for your time. Thank you for sharing your expertise. May the deliberations today be successful and fruitful.
Thank you, Denver.
Thank you.
There you have it, Dr. Smita Francis, Chief Executive Officer and founder of the Namibia Women in Engineering Association, as well as Mrs. Caroline Bushdit, Federation of Engineering Organization President, talking to us about the 5th annual conference under the theme Reshaping Namibia with Emerging Technologies and Innovation. We will be right back after a brief break.